Our fears teach us a complex lesson. On the one hand, they're entirely imaginary. What do we have to worry about? We're just going to stand up and say what we have to say. On the other hand, though, they're real. They cause problems. They make us sweat and stutter and say and like. They pressurize the situation. They throw our script into chaos. In a way, fear is a paradox. It's a paradox. A paradox is a thing that is self-contradictory, but nevertheless true. Fear is real. Fear is imaginary. Both are true. That's the paradox. I call this the ghost of fear. It's a ghost that haunts us as we attempt to guide ourselves through a presentation. But before we get too depressed about this ghost of fear, let's remember that we have something on our side. We can practice. We can practice what we want to say, and we can practice putting away our survival reactions and just being ourselves. But this leads us into another paradox, because if we're practicing just being ourselves, we're not really just being ourselves. It's a problem, right? Because the old cliche, just be yourself, never holds up when you're under pressure and you're trying to just be yourself. You end up being someone else. So really, fear leads us into a double paradox. On the one hand, it creates a ghost that haunts us with our worst selves. On the other hand, it creates this questioning. Am I really this? Is this really who I am? The reason people are so afraid of public speaking is because this questioning of the self is real. It's a real struggle. It's a metaphysical struggle between that ghost haunting us, that unreal self, and then that true self. It's a question, it's a struggle between chaos and being. That's what's going on when you're up there sweating and worried about delivering your content. But we can control fear. We can replace it with a rule-governed system. We can learn that system so it's second nature, so that when we feel ourselves begin to fail ourselves, we reach back to that backbone, that formula that'll guide us through. And we use that to articulate who we really are. This is what I want to say. You have the ability to speak to the world. You can summon that ability up, that true self. You can press it through the chaos of fear and deliver it to the world. So when I say that successful public speaking is the public performance of the private self, what I mean is that inside you is that true self, that private self. But in order to bring it out into the world, to release it, you have to rehearse it. You have to refine it. You have to shape it into who it is. You have to articulate it through the words you want to use. And you can do this. Onwards.